In this movie, you will see how a former boogeyman gets pissed off when a Russian boy messes with him and kills his dog. He then goes on a rampage, killing everyone who comes in his way and ends up messing things up. Will he get his revenge? You will get to know that by the end of the movie. The vehicle crashes. He's bleeding, pressing a gut wound. He crawls while watching his wife Helen on the beach on his phone. Close-eyed John Wick plunges. A few days ago, on a cloudy day, John wakes up. After Helen fainted in his arms, he got flashbacks of him and Helen. Her sickness took her life. Today is her funeral. Marcus, John's longtime buddy, consoles him after the service. John gets a delivery that night. A tiny beagle. Helen writes to John. She said that she has accepted her death and wants John to find his. John cries. He brings the dog out and sees its flower-adorned collar, which explains to John that Helen named the dog Daisy. Daisy accompanies John's Mustang drive. He stops for petrol with 3 Russian mobsters, including Luzef Tarasso, son of Vigo Teresa. Luzef appreciates John's car and asks how much. John says no. Joseph insults John in Russian, thinking he won't understand, but John speaks Russian in a low tone. Luzef's pal confronts John in the car. Daisy needs the toilet as John goes to bed. When they walk downstairs, 2 shadow guys stand before John while a third hits him in the head with a bat. Daisy whines while he beats John. A man shatters the dog's neck. Luzef knocks John unconscious after removing his mask. Later, when John regains consciousness, he simply rubs his dead pet. Luzef brings John's car to Aurelio's shop. Aurelio immediately recognizes the car and demands to know where Luzef got it from. Luzef brags about stealing and killing the car's owner's dog. Aurelio hits Luzef. Luzef storms out, telling him he'll sell the car to another person. Later, John comes to the shop and asks if someone stopped by, and Aurelio tells him his name. Then Vigo rings Aurelio that night to inquire why he hit Luzef. Aurelio admits that Luzef took John Wick's car and murdered his dog. Vigo says, "Oh." John smashes the underground floor with a sledgehammer. He finds his weapons and gold money. Vigo chats about it with Luzef at home. He smacks his son twice in the solar plexus to remind him who he just hurt. Vigo informs Luzef that John Wick worked with him before meeting Helen and leaving. John was known as the boogeyman, or the man they sent to kill the fucking boogeyman. Vigo calls John to address the issue, but John hangs up. Vigo sent 12 gunmen to John's home that night. John easily kills them all. A policeman knocks. The officer confirms a noise complaint when John addresses him by name. Seeing the body behind John, he wonders whether John is back in business. John replies that he's arranging. The officer says goodbye. John calls a cleanup crew to remove the bodies. Vigo offers Marcus $2 million to murder John. He also orders his sidekick, Avi, to recruit others. Marcus agrees to kill John. John stays at the Continental Hotel in Lower Manhattan, recognizes Perkins. Winston, Continental's manager and owner, is another old friend John visits. Winston says Luzef is at the Red Circle. John enters Luzef's club and kills one of his henchmen, and enters the club's basement floor, where he is having champagne and ladies. John shoots them while Luzef escapes. John kills every hitman, but Luzef survives in a getaway vehicle. John comes to the Continental to get his side stitched after Vigo's men injured him. The doctor warns John that exertion will rip his stitches. Marcus sees John in bed from across the street. Someone enters the mirror. He shoots John. It's Perkins. John dodges, and she fires. She tells him Vigo has boosted the contract to $4 million if she murders him and breaks hotel rules. He grappled with Perkins for information. She tells John Vigo keeps most of his cash and blackmail evidence in a church basement. John knocks Perkins out and leaves her with Harry, a business partner. Harry doesn't realize Perkins' thumb is dislocated. She shoots Harry after covering his face with a pillow. John discovers Vigo's secret money and business papers in the chapel. The priest shows him the vault after he shoots the church guard. Vigo finds out about the fire just moments before he gets a storm of gunshots from John. John almost kills all of Vigo's men, but John is knocked to the ground and incapacitated when 2 SUVs collide with each other. Vigo's men tie him up to a chair, and Vigo asks John why he went too far in getting revenge for just a fucking car and a fucking dog. John tells him that his dying wife had given the dog to him as a gift, but Luzef killed it. In addition, he also asks Vigo to hand over his son to him or die alongside him. He also says that he is back again. Vigo's men suffocate John with a plastic bag. Marcus, who was keeping an eye on the situation from the building across the street, shoots one of the assassins just in time so that John can free himself. John pulls out a gun and fires at Vigo's car, killing everyone except for Vigo. Vigo demands for the safety of his life if he tells Luzef's location to him. Vigo then tells John that Luzef is hiding in a safe house in Brooklyn. John gets to the location and starts killing armed men defending the safe house. He shoots some men from a nearby tower with a sniper. Luzef tries to escape, but this time John blasts all his getaway cars and catches him, putting an end to his life. John meets Marcus and thanks him for saving his life. Later that night, in revenge for Luzef's death, Viggo sends his goons to catch Marcus at his house. Viggo and Perkins beat the shit out of him. Then Marcus fights back by shooting 2 of his men, but eventually dies when Viggo shoots him multiple times. Just before he boards a helicopter to leave the city, Viggo calls John to tell him the news. While awaiting the arrival of John at Marcus's home, Perkins is summoned to a meeting with Winston, the owner of the Continental Hotel. She sees Winston at the Bethesda Arcade in Central Park. Winston reminds her that she's violated the laws of the Continental and that her membership has been terminated. The 4 men then shot her. Winston leaves, and the same cleaner removes assassins' bodies from his home. While John discovers Marcus's body at his home and sets off to take down Viggo. He notices the enemies approaching the helicopter and chases them, attempting to smash his car into them. Viggo sends Avi to go out and shoot John, but John smashes his car into him. Viggo tries to flip John's car over the rim, but John escapes unharmed. The 2 then engage in hand-to-hand combat in the rain. When Viggo tries to stab John, John pushes the knife into his stomach in order to break Viggo's arm, then grabs the knife and pushes it into Viggo's neck. He then leaves him to die. Then we are taken back to the opening scene, where John is bleeding. He finds new motivation after watching the video with Helen. He seeks treatment for his stab wound at a dog shelter. He then takes the puppy pit bull with him when he returns home, and the movie ends. I will make a part 2 of John Wick, so stay tuned by subscribing to my channel. Share your favorite moment of John Wick in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next plot. Goodbye.